How you doing? What do you say? Beer and a book? Welcome to Beer and a Book. Interesting week this week, being as it is Thanksgiving. And I have some stuff about relationships to share with you. As far as the beer, delicious beer, Vanilla In Yo Rye. It is an oatmeal stout made with rye from Rickoli Brewery in Wheatridge, Colorado. An amazing brewery because if you have a challenged relationship with gluten, this is a brewery for you, crafted to remove gluten. And I was told they've dialed it in with their parts per billion or whatever it is. It's like 99.9% gluten removed. So unless you have celiac disease, you should be able to enjoy this. And the crazy thing is that with that gluten removed, it doesn't compromise the style or flavor of the beer. Good stuff. I was blown away. Got a flight and tried so many of their beers and wanted to share this with you. And speaking of the other relationships that might be challenged, how about familial relationships? Or your relationship with society. That's why I'm highlighting this awesome book, You're Making Me Hate You, by Corey Taylor, frontman of Stone Sour and Slipknot. He's a 2-time New York Times bestselling author. Really down-to-earth, unfiltered. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Corey a couple of times when I worked in rock radio. Just a really genuine guy. And when he says, a cantankerous look at the common misconception that humans have any common sense left, he doesn't hold back. It's unfiltered. There's a lot of profanity in the book, but there's some interesting stuff to share. And one thing I did want to share with you, in lieu of the holidays, I hope this isn't your family, but it's come to represent a lot of the nature of our relationships just with people in general anymore. But this is from You're Making Me Hate You, from Corey Taylor. Another relationship we all have to deal with is with family, blood, or otherwise. I have to be honest, it's getting brutal out there. Family reunions, established as a way for tight-knit broods to stay close as they grew up and moved away, have now become something of a UFC title fight with fried chicken and that shitty lime green jello that no one eats. There are limbs and branches of family trees that can never be spoken of in certain company. Seriously, it's like Game of Thrones with a softball game at the end that no one really wants to be a part of, but everybody desperately wants to win. It's true. But he goes on to say, I go forward a couple pages, and this is what's brilliant, and keep this in mind when judging other people, if not ourselves. All right? In the end, relationships of all kinds define who we are inside, the one nobody sees or talks to. They're reflections of the unspoken soul because as hard as it is for some of you to open up, who you inevitably spend time with is a good indication of who you are or want to be. They say you can judge a person by the company they keep, but what they don't say is that you should dig a little deeper to understand how you and the company you keep get along in life. There are infinite lines of dialogue and energy that can go back and forth between the masses. And just because one person is a douche doesn't mean his friend is too, which is absolutely true. The way we approach relationships with anything these days is to overdo it. No one knows how to find the right balance and go with the flow. Everyone has to get exactly what they want, exactly when they need it, from exactly the right person or food or thing or whatever. People are obsessed with fulfilling their needs before anything else in life. The selfishness makes for a million butts and farts running around, convinced they'll never be happy unless they get precisely what they want. I don't know whether it's what personal freedom persuades us to think we need, or it's just because with so many things around us so readily available, like information and technology, we've developed an addiction to instant gratification. Either way, we're all a bunch of spoiled brats wandering this galactic pebble, yelling and arguing when we don't get what we want. And it's true. Look, brilliantly sums up here. Life doesn't sway or give when you try to force it to give to you what you crave, whether it's a lover or a liver transplant. Because of life, you learn to roll with the punches, even if you have to take a few headshots before you find out the hard way. Satisfaction only breeds selfishness. It's not a bad thing per se, but depending on what you're pursuing, it can be anything from death of desire to the destroyer of the ability to dream, if I can paraphrase slightly. When you always get what you want, you build up a tolerance and the sense of an illness against appreciation. More importantly, you become intolerant to anything, perceived or real, that feels like a setback or a loss. This is how we're meant to develop as people and expand our inner compassion and empathy. When we lose that, forget about relationships. We're effed as a species. We will be heading for the day when we're just finely dressed monkeys assaulting each other. You're Making Me Hate You, from Corey Taylor. Great book. Goes well with Vanilla In Yo Rye from Rickoli Brewing in Wheatridge. Big thanks to these guys for brewing good beer. Big thanks to Corey Taylor for putting down on paper an unfiltered and brutally honest look at life. And go easy on yourself this holiday and your family, friends, and just people in general, all right? I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Check out last week's episode, and make sure you subscribe, comment, share, and see you soon.